Hi everyone, welcome to our WordPress tutorial. WordPress is our CMS, or our content management system. We're actually in the process of building a new one, but right now this is what we're working with, and it's a great open source software, and today I'm going to show you how to use it. So I know, don't get too excited, but when you add WordPress to your LinkedIn skills, I will endorse you. If I could do it twice, I'd do it twice. So writers and editors, once your directors actually invite you to the WordPress in order to use it, the first thing you're going to do is go to your email. Naturally, you're going to get two emails. The first one you're going to receive is something that says activate. It'll have your username, and it should say who it's from. Anyways, you click on this. You'll select this link to activate the account. Now, once you do that, it'll redirect you to a screen that looks sort of wonky. Don't worry about that. What you want to do is just come back to your email, and you're going to see a second message that says new, and then the rival user, and then your name. So anyways, once you do that, it'll give you a temporary password, which you should copy. It'll show you what your username is, and it'll take you to a login page. All you do is click this link. Great. So you enter in your username, you paste your password, which you're about to change, hit remember me just in case, and log in. Awesome. The first thing you want to do is change your password. So if we hover over profile and select it and scroll down, this is where you can change information about yourself if you like. In order to change a password, what you'll have to do is select generate password. It'll give you some sort of crazy nonsense. Type in what you actually want and make sure to include some capital letters, some numbers, and some symbols. I know it's kind of crazy, but we have high security standards here at the Rival. We don't want anyone hacking into our CMS, so make it something crazy that you can also remember. Pretty crazy, but you either need medium or strong in order to actually get past this screen. So make it pretty solid. Maybe copy and paste it somewhere just in case you need to remember it. Cool. If you do not see your first and last name, it is very, very, very important that you actually fill it in. This will be your display name on the front end, meaning next to your articles. So be sure to put in your name here. Cool. Update profile. Great, now I've got my new password. That's what I'll log into. Whenever you want to log into the site and you are somewhere else, so say you're on Google, you go to your school.therival.news/wp-admin. I would bookmark this if I were you. So now I have the login page bookmarked here. I'm going to put in my username and my password. So where you, writers and editors, will be spending the vast majority of your time is under posts. So for editors and writers, when you want to navigate to a post that is a draft, you'll see it labeled as a draft. You can also filter by drafts. Basically, you can navigate to stories that aren't quite published that still need some work. Editors works the same for you. You can filter by your category. You can filter by drafts or articles that have been published, but this is where you would find your articles. In all likelihood, you'll hit add new here at the top, or you can go over here and hit add new. And from here, you will enter a headline, some body text. You'll set a featured image, which you will acquire legally. Hit set featured image. Select your category. So let's say it's in Humans of Howard. You may choose to feature the post. If it is satirical, you may check this box off to claim that it is satire. Also, if it is satire, make sure to put at the bottom of your article the following. This article is meant to be satirical in nature. Perfect. Ignore the field business name. You can ignore SoundCloud link and featured title. For subtitle, enter whatever you want the subtitle to be. This is a subtitle. Be sure to do that. Where that actually shows up, I will show you. So your subtitle will show up both below your headline on the homepage, so right here, right? Macklemore's White Privilege 2 slams Azalea and others. And when you click on it, it will show up just below the headline again in this bigger text. You can ignore excerpt. You'll eventually get to something called Yoast SEO, and SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. In order for you to better understand SEO, I'm going to use an actual article from Duke called Welcome to the Club, like Iggy GTFO, naturally, instead of using a dummy article, so that way you can actually see what focus keywords and important information to include. So the first thing you want to do once you get to Yoast SEO is fill in a keyword that's an extremely searchable term that has to do with your article. So in this case, I mean, people are probably searching for Macklemore all the time on Google. You can already see that I've bumped my grade up to an orange, right, which is closer to green. It'll give you some suggestions as to how to make this article show up more in Google search results. For example, the focus word Macklemore does not appear in the page title. Let's call this appreciation versus appropriation with Macklemore. You can see now we've already shot up to green because I've added our focus keyword into the title. So no, this isn't the title of the article, but it does help people actually redirect and find out the true name of the article. It's automatically going to take the first paragraph of the article. I would suggest actually changing this to something that is more of a synopsis of the entire article. So, a deep look into Mackle. So now you can see we've been bumped up to a green. This is what the Google snippet would look like. It's a lot more substantive, and I think it also describes the article a lot more, and it will get your rankings in Google search results that much higher. You'll see a plugin here at the bottom called NextScript Social Networks Auto Poster. What's going to happen is once things are published, they're going to automatically push to your Facebook page or Twitter handle should you have it. Whatever text you put in this message format box under NextScripts is, once it's published, what will show up right here. You get the idea. Now, it's very important that whether you're a writer or an editor or whoever you are, that this NextScripts box gets filled out. And that is because a lot of our traffic comes from social and from Facebook and from Twitter. So if you have the option to customize this text and make it more appealing to the average user on social media, the more likely it will get clicked and the more likely your content will reach more people. Be sure to fill this out. This is very important. The last thing you want to do is make sure that the author is correct, right? So make sure you pick from this long list of people to make sure the author is correct. Don't worry about comments, don't worry about statistics. Once you are done, writers, you do not go to the top and hit publish. Although you have the ability to do this, you need someone to check it first before you publish. Editors, directors, whoever you are, if you write something, it does not get published by you, it gets published by somebody else because you need someone to check for grammar, you need someone to check for accuracy, you need someone to check for spelling, you need someone to check for both copywriting and making sure that it is legitimate and it has integrity and it's accurate, okay? So what you're gonna do instead is hit Save Draft. Once the draft is saved, you'll get a little green notification up here that says Post Updated, and then you should alert an editor and tell them, hey, my post is done, can you go check it out? Or if you're in another position, if you're an editor or a director, you can get a writer, or you can get a co-director, or you can get somebody else to check your article out. The point is, someone needs to check it. Once you save as the draft, you'll see it under all posts, and you'll be able to go in, make your edits, and then hit publish when it's ready to go. Cool. So to show you the different things you can do within a post, I'm going to navigate down to our white friends from schools around the nation, which was an article that we produced last semester where different writers from different schools spoke about white privilege and race relations at their school in wake of what happened at Mizzou and Yale and plenty of schools around the country. So this was a response. Here's what it looks like on the back end. Here's what it looks like on the front end. Now, you're probably wondering yourself, well, how did they get it to look like this, right? With this big old header, this bold text. As you go down, there's a line break here, and there's more stylized text, right? And there's a few ways to do that, and I'm going to show you how to do those. So let's take a look. First of all, you can use the basic word processing that's available here in the visual tab. This is where you're going to spend most of your time, in the visual tab. This is where you'll actually see, kind of like under visual, it's going to look more like Microsoft Word, where you can highlight some text, hit bold, and then it's going to bold, right? It is that simple. But for making text bigger, you see that there's not actually an option to make text any bigger. To add this line, like there's nowhere to add this line. This is where you start doing a little bit of HTML. And I'm going to show you how to do things like creating big headers like this. And also how to create block quotes. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. So let's start with the big text. So it's really simple. A lot of this stuff is added automatically, okay? You don't have to worry about putting in span tags and break tags and, style tags and all that stuff. You don't have to worry about that. That happens automatically when you do it in the visual tab. But for the text tab, if you want to create, again, headers like this, what you need to do is go into the text tab and put an H2 tag around whatever you want to be a header, right? Adding an H2 tag is just going to dive deep into our code, grab these stylings that we have created, and apply it to the text between this opening H2 and this closing H2. And you know it's a closing H2 because it's got a slash. So basically all you need to do is, if you want to create a header, add an open bracket, H2, close bracket, and then the text that you want on the inside. Strong just represents the bolding. That didn't happen over here. That happened in the visual tab. And then you'll put a closing H2 tag at the end, right? So we could get rid of strong. That wouldn't matter. It's just going to be opening H2, the text that you want, closing H2. Cool. We're going to save that, update, and you're going to see what this looks like once it's done loading. Now we have H2 tags, which create headers like this, right? And then we have H3 tags, which create block quotes. I'll show you what that looks like right now. So if I were just to change this from an H2 opening to a closing H3, right? So opening H3, closing H3, it's going to make it into a block quote, which in this instance wouldn't really make sense to just put the rival at George Mason University. I'll show you a better example in a moment, but I'll show you what this style does. So let me just update this. Let me go over here. I'm going to refresh the page. And it creates this cool little stylized block quote with lines around whatever the block quote might be. So this is a crappy example because this is just a title. It's not necessarily a quote. Let's go over to GMU to show you a better example. I think they do it very, very effectively. So you can see here, this is an H2 tag around this text. Scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down. And this is an H3 tag, right? My snare friends are the best friends. It takes a quote from Kevin Pope, who's on the notorious indoor drumline team at GMU. So it's pretty cool, right? It grabs the styles of your site, so of your school-specific colors, and it applies them. So that's how you use H2 and H3 tags. Remember, that takes place in the text tab, not the visual tab. Pretty much everything else happens in the visual tab. Great. So there's only one more thing that you really need to know how to do, and that's how to add media into posts. So whether that be a GIF, whether that be a photo, whether that be a video, you should know how to do it. So first of all, for videos, if it's a YouTube video, all you do is just paste the URL in the visual tab or the text tab, wherever you want. It's very, very simple, right? If you have a YouTube link, let's say it's this one, I'm just going to copy the link. Well, let's say it's a video. This one's of me, actually. Quit out of it. And I would just paste it right here, and that's where it would show up, as you can see. Simple stuff, right? Cool. For a photo or for a GIF, you'd have to add media. If you wanted to use a GIF, I would just copy the GIF's URL and insert it right here, and hit insert in post once you paste. As for a photo, you do insert media. You could upload a file if you already know it's been uploaded. You can find it in the media library, but it would simply just insert itself into the post very seamlessly. Once you do that, you would hit update. Or if it was the first time you were creating a post, you would save it as a draft, of course. Yeah, and as far as uploading media from social media, be sure to use their embed code. So again, for GIFs and videos and photos, you could insert that into the visual part of this. But if you're going to take an embed code, so here I've got a tweet from time.com about Barbie, and I want to embed it, I would hit this ellipsis point. I would hit the embed tweet button right here. I would copy this code, right? So Command-C to copy, or right click and copy. We go back to my post, and this is where you'd have to navigate to the text tab, not the visual tab, and paste it wherever you want it to be. So let's say I want it to be at the very bottom of the article. I'm just going to paste it right at the very bottom here. I'm going to do update. Great. I'm going to go over to view post. You should see at the very, very, very bottom a post from Time. So this is the only legal way to actually post stuff from different social media outlets like Instagram and like Vine and like Twitter, is to copy that embed code. It's real simple, and as you can see now, you can follow from here. You can go straight to the thing. You can favorite it from here. It's really real simple. So yeah, that's how you do that. Finally, the last thing I want to bring to your attention is how to legally acquire photos. Okay, there's only a few resources available online that we recommend for acquiring photos legally. The first place is, of course, Google Images. Now, it's not just any old Google image search is going to bring up legal images. Let's say I just search for the word. Let's just keep going. Barbie. There's Barbie. Now, you can't just use any old picture of Barbie. I'm sure there's all sorts of copyrights on these photos. What you have to do is go to Search Tools, Usage Rights, Label for Reuse. And from there, you can use all of these pictures. You can continue to refine your search if you want it to be a larger resolution photo, if you want it to be a certain color. You get the idea. But make sure you have Labeled for Reuse selected, and then you can use these pictures. Flickr is another great resource. Let's type in Barbie one more time. And in this drop down right here under any license, you'll go click that, go to all Creative Commons, and these are the photos, once again, that you may use as your picture, right? Be sure for Flickr, however, there's one caveat. At the bottom of your post to say courtesy of Romita Girl 67 and to paste this link. It's very, very important that you do that. Flickr is a little bit more stingy on the rights that you can use, but as long as you give credit where credit is due, as in this case for Romita Girl 67, you're good. So no problems there. There's a few other resources. Unsplash.com has a lot of really beautiful scenic photos if you want any of those. These are all free for use. They're really high resolution and pretty. Pexels is another good one. You can search photos here, so let's see if they got anything for Barbie. Nope, not of Barbie. I think it'll work for more generic stuff, like let's search for college. Here you can see these are all free photos for use. Up here at the top, these you'd have to pay for, by the way, so just stick to the ones that aren't under the Shutterstock label. Another great resource is Pixabay, which works the same way, right? You just search for stuff. Flowers. Boom. Free photos, free pretty photos. Yeah, so those are free resources. There's a few more resources I will go over during site training, but for now you know how to get photos legally, now you know how to fill out a post, now you know how to log in to your WordPress CMS, and you should be good to go to produce all of that wonderful content. Okay guys, thanks.